All right, let's just get right to it. If you're trying to win in 2026 using the old playbook, you're going to lose, period. And that feeling you have, that feeling of being stuck, it's not actually your fault. The reason you're stuck is because the advice you've been following is totally, completely obsolete.
I'm just going to say it. You've been lied to, plain and simple. They lied to you about what it takes to be happy. They lied about what it takes to be successful. And maybe the biggest lie of all, they lied about what you are truly capable of.
You know that advice you hear everywhere? Just think positive or hustle harder. It's broken. It doesn't work. It's nothing more than toxic positivity. And honestly, it's a one-way ticket to complete and total burnout. The world is different now, so the mindset you need to win has got to be different too.
Okay, so first things first. We have to tear down the biggest lies that are holding you back right now. This stuff is the foundation of that old, broken way of thinking. We've got to completely dismantle it before we can even think about building something new and powerful in its place.
So, look at this. This chart basically shows the entire shift. The old lie was all about pursue happiness, but happiness, it comes and goes, right? The new truth is about pursuing meaning. It's about taking on responsibility, like a lot of thinkers, like Jordan Peterson talk about. That's what gives you something solid. We're also trading that hustle 24/7 burnout for what we call strategic rest. And here's the big one. We're finally admitting that motivation is a total flake. It's not going to be there when you need it. Discipline, that's what gets you across the finish line.
But here's the thing. The lies aren't just coming from the outside. No. The biggest, toughest battle you're ever going to fight is the one happening right inside your own head. See, your brain has this hidden switch, this governor, that is actively designed to shut you down way, way before you get anywhere near your real potential.
40%. Just look at that number. What does that even mean? Well, this number, it's the invisible wall that stops almost everyone. We're talking 99% of people right at the moment they're about to succeed.
This is what's known as the 40% rule, a concept David Goggins talks about a lot. It's that exact moment when your brain is just screaming at you, "Stop! I'm done! I can't do any more!" But here's the secret, the part they don't tell you. It's a total bluff. It's your mind giving up, not your body. You've literally got 60% more left in the tank. And look, Goggins puts it pretty bluntly. He says this governor on our minds, it wasn't there from the factory. We weren't born with it. We put it there ourselves. And that means it's your job, and your job alone, to take that thing off. But it's not just about pushing through physical pain. Taking that governor off means you also have to fight against years, decades even, of mental programming, the stuff that's been drilled into you by your family, by your culture, since you were a kid. And that leads us right into this idea of the poor mindset. And listen, this has nothing to do with the amount of money in your bank account. It's a belief system. It's a learned condition where you start to believe that poverty, that struggle, is a permanent part of who you are, not just a temporary situation you're in. The entrepreneur MJ Lopez, he breaks down exactly how this gets wired into our brains. It gets passed down from our parents, right? They mean well, but they say things over and over. "Child, life is hard," or "Child, we are just poor." You hear that enough times, and eventually, you start to believe it. Now, your parents might have installed that software, but it's up to you to do the reprogram.
So how in the world do you fight back? How do you take off the governor and rewrite the programming? Well, the answer isn't some new age hack. It's ancient. We're going back to Stoicism. And for 2026, we're calling it the Obsidian Mindset.
Okay, so let's break this down. The old mindset, it's all about seeking pleasure, running from pain, and always looking for somebody else to tell you you're doing a good job. The Obsidian mindset, it's the complete opposite. It doesn't just put up with hardship, it disdains it. It voluntarily confronts fear. It seeks out challenges on purpose. Why? Because it understands a fundamental truth. Self-respect isn't something someone gives you. It's something you earn. It's forged in the fire of struggle.
And this isn't a new idea. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus nailed it centuries ago. Think about the trade-off he's talking about here. When you accomplish something good through hard work, the toil, the pain, that fades away. But the good, that remains. On the flip side, if you do something dishonorable for a little bit of pleasure, that pleasure's gone in a flash. But the dishonor, the shame, that sticks around. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful choice when you think about it.
And this really gets to the core of what guys like Jordan Peterson talk about. Look, life involves suffering. That's a guarantee, right? You can't avoid it. So the goal isn't to find a way to escape suffering. The goal is to find a meaning, a purpose, a responsibility that is so damn important that it justifies the suffering. That meaning, that becomes your armor, your shield. Okay, I know what you're thinking. After all this talk about embracing hardship and confronting fear, this next part is going to sound like a total contradiction. Because now, we need to talk about rest, but not in the way you think. We're not talking about rest as an escape. We're talking about rest as a strategic weapon.
Right, so the question is obvious. Hey, if I'm supposed to disdain hardship and work so hard, isn't that just hustle culture all over again? Won't I just burn out? And you know what? That's a totally fair question. But the answer is a hard, definitive no.
The answer is a concept called the fallow year. It's an idea from agriculture, actually. See, a farmer knows you can't just plant the same field over and over and over again. If you do, you'll completely deplete the soil. It won't grow anything. So they have to deliberately leave the field unplanted, let it go fallow so the soil can rest and replenish. Your mind, your energy, your creativity, they're exactly the same. This isn't about being lazy. This is a power move for long-term productivity and abundance.
I love how the author Susie Moore puts it. She says, a break isn't an indulgence, it's an investment. And that's exactly it. You're not being lazy, you're investing in your future self. This kind of strategic rest is how you make sure you have the fuel to smash through that 40% wall, not just once, but over and over again.
All right, let's put this all together. We've torn down the old lies, we've identified the hidden governor in our own minds, we've found the ancient tools of Stoicism and the modern strategy of rest. Now it's time to synthesize it all, to build a new identity. This quote from Jordan Peterson just sums it all up perfectly. You should be a monster. He says you should be an absolute monster. The point isn't to be weak or harmless. The point is to become incredibly capable, formidable, powerful, a monster of competence. But then, and this is the crucial part, then you have to learn how to control it. So here it is, the 4-step framework. Step 1, acknowledge the governor. You have to recognize that 40% rule and all the garbage programming you've learned. Step 2, disdain hardships. Stop running away from tough things and start using them voluntarily to build real self-respect. Step 3, rest with purpose. You have to master the fallow year as a strategic weapon for growth. And finally, step 4, control the monster. You take all that power, all that ambition, and you channel it with absolute discipline. You become a monster, yes, but a monster that you control.
That right there is the Obsidian Mindset. It's not about trying to avoid the fire, it's about choosing to walk through it and learning to control the incredible power you forge for yourself in those flames. So really, there's only one question left to ask yourself. What kind of monster will you be?